Hey friends, I want to share a personal story with you. I want to tell you about my exponential leap with my mentor. It's the leap that literally changed everything in my life, and I will never be the same because of it. And it has a really funny plot twist to it, so I think you'll enjoy hearing my story. I met my mentor probably 15 years ago, honestly. I met her when I was experimenting with essential oils and was developing an essential oil company that I had, or an essential oil business that I had. And I met her because she was also into essential oils. And so I saw her videos and kind of just connected with her. And, she was just kind of in my field. I wouldn't say anyone of noteworthy. And then around 2020, she offered a workshop that I was interested in, and somehow I got on her newsletter list. And I went to this workshop and I had a really interesting reaction. I was really triggered by her. The content was amazing and I learned a lot, but her energy really just unsettled me. And when I tried to put my finger on it, what I realized was that unlike most of the teachers I'd studied with, who seemed very confident, who had a lot of information and wisdom to share, but felt like in some ways reserved, Tiffany was like sensual. She was expressive. She took time to pause. She let herself just like, at one time, I think she was in like a gown because she was on a cruise while she was leading the workshop. I mean, she just did all the things that I thought I was taught that you just like can't do as a professional. So anyway, she triggered me, but I continued with the workshop. Well, then what happened was at the end of the workshop, she offered us a chance to go on a small group retreat to Sardinia. And it sounded amazing to me, especially at that time in my life. There was something that really drew me to that. So I jumped on a call with her. And once again, my response was triggering because she jumped on the call eating gelato. Like she was literally in the middle of a town on her cell phone at a cafe, chomping on her gelato, talking to me. And I just thought, wow, she's so unprofessional. Not to mention the fact when she told me how much the retreat cost, I just thought, man, this person is like a fraud or a scam. Like, I can't believe people do this. And so I got really angry and upset and I just wrote her off. And I thought, man, good thing that I just didn't get tricked into doing anything like this with her. Like, what nerve she has, right? So you'd think this would be the end of the story, that like no more Jill and Tiffany. Well, somehow a couple years later, I find myself on her newsletter list again. And man, everything she spoke of in her newsletters spoke to me in a really, really deep way. It was like she was speaking to me, and everything she talked about were the things that my soul was grappling with. Like it just resonated so deeply. And one of the topics that she spoke of that I really had like so much shame in just naming that that's what I wanted was she talked about wanting more money, wanting to receive more and do less. And that to me sounded like, how could I even say that? How can I say that I want to have more money and not work harder for it? Like that was so against the grain of what I was taught. But I was interested and I kept getting her newsletters and they kept speaking to me and I kept being drawn in. So I thought, okay, I'm going to set up another call with her and inquire about what her offerings were. Well, this time I had a really different experience. When she spoke to me and I talked to her, I saw something in her that I wanted really deeply. I saw a future version of me. I saw the confidence that I wanted. I saw the ability to hold space like she did. I saw the ability that she had to witness me, not in a place of being flawed or needing anything from her, but as someone that had such potential that was right at my fingertips. But this call was interesting because I had no idea what she was going to tell me about the cost. And when she told me, of course I panicked. It was a small fortune. I had never even fathomed spending that much on a coach for a certain amount of time. But something different really happened. And that was, yes, I freaked out and my mind went to all the what ifs and there's no way, I'm unemployed at the time. Like there's no way I can afford this. Like I could buy so many things with this. But for the first time ever, what I tracked was a desire that was so deep that I knew, like with my whole body, that I wanted to say yes to this. I wanted this. I wanted this with her. I wanted something different. And I knew that the something different was something that she was living. She had something and she had figured something out, and I wanted that. And I wanted a different life. And I had no idea what was going to happen with it, but I knew that I wanted to say yes. And I did. I couldn't believe it, but I did. I said yes. And what was amazing about my yes is that normally when I say yes to something big that I'm wanting in my life, like maybe like the first time I put a down payment on a house, or I bought a new car, or something that required, more of me, I was always filled with like buyer's remorse right after. And I would ruminate and think, oh my gosh, like this is the wrong decision. I'd go back and forth. I never went back in this decision, because the moment I said yes, I had summoned something so deep in me. And what I had said yes to was me. I had said yes to me, and I had never said yes to me in this big of a way, where I was willing to put everything on the line for myself, where I was really willing to go, I am all in for this. And this could go amazingly or this could go poorly, but I am all in for it. I don't want to be the same person. I don't want to do the same things. If it was just another skill or tactic or class, I would have already taken it, because I worked so hard on myself through the years. I had studied and apprenticed and done all the work. And yet I found that I was in the same pattern of, I would get a little better, then my life would blow up, and then I'd recreate it, and then I'd get a little better, then my life would blow up. And it just felt like it was just always at such sacrifice, because in each iteration of my life, something had to die. It was like I couldn't take a certain part with me, because this next evolution was taking this part with me. Or maybe like what I sacrificed was like my time finally. So I just knew that I wanted something different, and she was living it. And I knew that she was the one I wanted to do it. And so I said yes. Well, then my journey starts, right? My leap. And what's really interesting about it is that I honestly don't even remember who I was when I started the journey, because I am so different after. It's like when I think of the beginning, it's almost like it was someone else's life, or it was just another person that I don't even know anymore. That's how profoundly I shifted. And so when I think back to like how this all started, I remember the leap, and then it's like I don't even remember until like I just remember that there was so much that shifted. So I want to share with you the treasures that I took with me in this leap, because there were so many. I mean, literally, I thought that I was kind of learning a new plan, maybe. I knew I wanted something. I had really had no idea what it looked like, but my mind could only wrap myself around that maybe it'd be like some new innovative business strategy, or I'd learn like how to be more spiritual in my business, or that I'd learn how to make more money, or I'd get greater manifestation. Like that's all my mind could come up with. I really didn't have any basis for understanding what it actually could look like. But what I got was like unfathomable. It was so beyond what I could have imagined. The first thing I got was a new sense of self-worth and value, because when you say yes to something so large that you want so badly, and you go all in for yourself, it summons something so powerful to come with you. And it also ushers in so much more belief in the self. Even though I had no idea how it was going to work or if it was going to work, there was something within me that got acknowledged that had never been acknowledged before. Like going all in, like I'd gone partially all in, right? I believed in myself a great deal, but this was unlike any other yes. And going all in like that for yourself, knowing that you can't turn back, like knowing that like at this point, how much I invested, how much I had risked, there was no going back. Like I literally didn't leave myself room to go back, because it was like all or nothing. And that generated within me a whole host of decision making and a whole host of being willing to really believe and commit to myself. Like I had committed lots of money to many houses I bought through the years and clothing and things, but I had never committed to myself at this level. I had never said yes and believed in myself like this. So what I gained from it was a new sense of how I believe in myself and what I'm willing to do for myself. And I will never, ever doubt myself like I ever did before. I will never, ever say no to those deep desires, because I know that I can trust them, because this was the deepest desire I ever touched, and it was the best decision that I ever made for myself. So that was the first treasure, and probably the most precious treasure. Another treasure that I received was intimacy. I'd had a lot of failed relationships, and we all have intimacy issues from our family of origin that we can go back and talk about. There was really something special about the intimacy that we created together. I had never had someone follow and hold my hand through so much of my life, like the really high moments, to stand there and celebrate with me and acknowledge what I did, and even my low times. And not as a person like coming down to pull me out, but as a person standing there saying, I believe in you. I know you can get out of this. I know you know the way, and I'm here with you as you go through this. She really helped me understand what true intimacy was. And it wasn't about enmeshment, and it wasn't about putting someone on a pedestal, and it wasn't about depending on anyone. We had such healthy boundaries, but really what it was two hearts sharing life. I loved how she shared her life with me too, and not from a place of trying to always take it back into her life and you do what I did, but it was a sharing. Like, I got to know her as a person, and I got to learn from her life and see how she reacted to life. And I also got to share my life in really profound ways that I'd never really shared with anyone. Like, I didn't have to put on the smiley face. I didn't have to pretend to be anything. I let her see me. And that is a really profound gift, to let yourself be seen and to allow yourself to actually find an intimacy with another where you walk together. It was so precious. And I really hope that in the work that I do with others, that I'm able to extend that same intimacy, because it's quite healing to the parts of us that never get to know intimacy. One of the other gifts that I received was an ability to learn so many tools and practices. And I love that when you're walking with someone and it's a continuous walk, right? Because there's not a start and stop, like we're always in communication. Then the practices and the tools that I learned from her that were part of her became part of me. It's like it just gets transmitted through how she's speaking to me, how she's coaching me. And I loved that, because it's like this genuine integration where the tools that I learned like aren't like I memorized a step or I just like cut and pasted, but it actually was able to be assimilated into my life the way that I would want to practice the tool. So it was like customized, and it was customized because she knew me so well. And that, again, is the gift of walking with someone, is that you get those gifts of intimacy, and you get to, the person gets to know you and to align with you. So I loved all that I learned, and I loved that I was able to learn things that will take me through the rest of my life. These were tools that were invaluable. They're not going to be redundant. They're not anything that like only works for this area of your life. It works for everything. So I learned an invaluable amount of tools. I learned intimacy. I learned to really leap for myself. And I really, really learned what it's like to usher support, to call in support and actually receive it. You know, it's one thing to say like, oh, I want to get a coach, or I want to get a healer, or I want to get a massage, or I want help with this. But she actually taught me exponential receiving, which is actually asking for something that not because you need it, but because you want it. Like, did I need to receive at this exorbitant level that I received with her? Absolutely not, but I wanted it. And there was something powerful about asking for something I wanted and allowing myself to receive it. And she taught me this concept of exponential receiving through the way that our work was done together, through going on a private retreat with her in Sardinia, where the focus was only on me. I wasn't sharing it with 10 other people, and I was staying at a 5-star hotel, which I was on a penthouse. I mean, it was completely crazy to receive at that level, to have someone give you all of their attention, to be able to have someone that you can talk to when you need them, not just because you're seeing them once a week, but because we had messaging access. It was the amount of attention that I got that I wasn't used to. It was again the confirmation that I can ask for what I want and I can receive it. And it was so, so powerful in allowing me to start to understand really the other end of the spectrum from action and going after things, but just learning to say, I like this, and learning to allow it to come in, because it's actually something that we have to learn, I find, is how to receive at that level. So as I reflect through my whole journey with Tiffany, there's so many things that I can't even name at this point because they're so powerful and there's no words for them, or I don't even know how to put it in words because it's already a part of me and what I've offered. But what I know is that this experience completely changed my life. It completely changed who I am and what I want to offer. And it caused me to pivot the work that I'm offering, because I want to help people in the way that she helped me. I want to pass it on, right? I want to be able to be part of this tradition of when we learn something that powerfully changes our life, that we want nothing more than just to share it, to let others find that freedom. Tiffany gave me the keys that I have been holding my whole life. She just taught me that I was holding them. She taught me how to love myself, how to care for myself, how to believe in myself. It's powerful. It's so powerful. So I share this story so you too can feel the impact of coaching. What really is on the line when you give to yourself at such a high level, when you allow yourself to receive. Because the universe is there to give you what you want, and there are people that are here to support you. There really is so much abundance. And my heart will always hold so much gratitude and acknowledgement and reverence for my mentor, Tiffany Carroll. But I also know that anything in our field or environment that we revere and respect is nothing but a reflection of who we are. So the biggest gift really is that she allowed me to see a new version of me, a version of me that I didn't even know existed, but I do now. From my heart to your friends, blessings, and may you exponentially receive everything you want.